Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chase from the warehouse, and I'm here with JD, product line manager protective for Bauer Hockey. Now, we're sitting here at Bauer headquarters out in New Hampshire, taking a look at your new gear. So before we get into the individual lines, what's the difference as far as fit goes between all three?
Yeah, so we've introduced, a couple of years ago, a concept of fit for every player, and what we try to do is, we have the luxury of having 3 different families that fit differently. So in the underprotective kind of category, we focus the Supreme line of product to fit what we call anatomical fit.
Tight and snug.
Yeah, it's kind of close to the body.
Okay.
And basically what we're seeing is a lot of the younger generation players that are growing up in the game are generally gravitating towards this kind of fit. Okay. It's basically that new style fit that's definitely growing over the past couple of years.
And then this is probably the opposite because it's kind of the traditional, right?
That's exactly it. So everything that we do with Nexus is about catering to kind of that traditional style or the volume style fit. So it's if you look at the shin guard, for example, the kneecap, the shin shell,
pretty wide.
It's wider fitting, and it's basically catering to a player that's looking for kind of those old style properties in equipment.
Gotcha. And then so I'm guessing Vapor fits right in between that, got that tapered fit, just a little mix of both, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you actually pretty much stole the words out of my mouth. It's exactly that. And if you look at the shin guard, for example, the kneecap.
It's like a Nexus style.
It's like Nexus style, but then once you go to the bottom of the shin shell, it's much more closer to the Supreme. So it's a nice kind of that in-between kind of fit.
Gotcha. Maybe someone transitioning from the Nexus into a Supreme or something.
Exactly.
Awesome. Now the other thing that I've noticed too, you guys kind of used unique technologies in the line too. Like last year we saw Poron being used in the Supreme. So we got the Airlight and we also have EPP. So let's start with the Nexus and just talk about EPP.
Yeah, so take a step back and you look at Poron as an example. The reason why we use Poron is it's one of the best materials that we work with from an impact resistance standpoint. You think about the fit and how close it sits to your body. You need to use a material that's really good at impact absorption. When you go to Nexus, because you're using so much material in the product, you need to use a material that's really good for impact dispersion, so it spreads the impacts over a larger surface area, allowing for your body to absorb the energy easier, but also helps keep the product a little bit more lightweight because of the amount of materials that you're using. So it's a kind of a combination of both.
Kind of balances out.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So you get great impact properties, but we're definitely striving to keep the equipment as lightweight as possible. But when you go to Vapor, this is the one that has the newest technology. So we're going to be introducing into the marketplace a new Airlight technology. And, from a player's perspective, they're definitely going to notice it in the shoulder cap because it's this new exposed foam type technology. Okay. But Airlight is featured throughout. Okay, and basically what it is, and it varies by the different components within the product, but it's basically multiple layers of different types of foams and different materials, kind of sandwiched together. Okay, heated up and then thermal formed into the different component, and that's really what improves impact properties versus our previous APX line, but dramatically reduces the weight. Yeah, we're looking at roughly around 25% lighter weight product in this particular family versus the APX line. So significant weight improvements, but more importantly, the
very protective.
Very protective from
awesome.
From an impact testing perspective, we're far exceeding the APX line as well. So.
And then that last thing that I've noticed is that 37.5 technology, and it's a little new and unique. So let's break that down too as well.
Yeah. So our apparel team has been really focusing on this for roughly around 2 years, working with some different vendors on some unique technologies. But basically, think of it as a liner that really accelerates the kind of the water evaporation process within the equipment, and
drying, right?
Yeah, and
gotcha.
it basically keeps the product drier for a longer period of time. At the end of the day, we all know that hockey players sweat a lot, and what we're trying to do is, as the player sweats and it gets absorbed in the product, is have that dry extremely fast so that it keeps the product as lightweight as possible and allow the player to play a little bit more. It's
probably a little more comfortable too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it helps regulate your body temperature as well, which ultimately leads to player performance on ice. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all that great information. And you can check out all this gear at inline and icewarehouse.com.